What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be doing a spoiler-free review of a movie called The Closet out of South Korea. Let's get into it. Now, The Closet is definitely not the melodrama, heartwarming tale of a teenager coming out of the closet. In fact, no, it's way more average. It's a South Korean horror film directed by Kwang Bin Kim that just came out on Google Play and Amazon. But unfortunately, this movie has some issues. It's painfully average, in my opinion, unfortunately. The story of The Closet is about a girl and her father who are dealing with the loss of their mother, his wife. The father is, of course, super busy and has always been focused on his job, and one day his daughter goes missing into the closet. Now, he doesn't know this, of course, until a quirky stranger comes to his door to tell him that she's been sucked into another realm in the closet. Pretty much it. Now, I'll typically get into some of these supernatural films, but, it's always a mix-up. You never know if it's going to be good or bad, depending on how they treat the movie. There was little to no scares whatsoever, all jump scares for the most part that I found throughout the entire film, and some shoddy CGI that basically painted on some crazy-looking dead kid eyes on a bunch of kids that kind of made them look like they were in Lords of Chaos. So not good. And I like Lords of Chaos, just to be clear. I'm just saying that the makeup was not all that. There were a couple of flashy scenes that they did some pretty cool things, like arms and stuff grabbing people into the closets, or scenes of people being just yanked into them, which was kind of cool. But ultimately, it really is pretty average. And it's unfortunate because I was kind of hoping with this string of South Korean films that I've actually been digging lately, maybe this might be a good one. It's not really. It's nothing really that sticks out. Honestly, the performances in it were okay. They were, pretty average. But the copy I had the dubs over top of it, and it kind of took away from my experience. I think the movie itself just kind of took away from itself, ultimately, regardless of the dubs. If you can, I'd watch it in subtitles. But ultimately, that didn't matter anyway. Because while the story is kind of an interesting one and could be something that might be somewhat scary, even as ridiculous as it sounds, The Closet.
Hey, beep boop on the nose! It's time to check.
Kind of tries to paint it in this sort of quirky manner with this side character who helps the father. And I don't mind having a little bit of quirkiness in a horror movie, but it kind of just felt like it should have been just played straight. And this kind of took it back a notch, because his character was a little too much, a little too annoying for something as serious as losing a child, regardless if it's in some fictitious closet that sucks people into it. It's kind of, I don't know, it just didn't feel right. Like, this guy was just making jokes the whole time, and of course they carried that into the end. It was overbearing, I'll just say that. But the performances were okay other than him. I was not a fan of that character in particular at all. It felt like this movie wanted to take one scene from Poltergeist and try to turn it into an entire story where they go into this nether realm and figure out how to save Carol Ann. Only this is way worse and didn't work, which is unfortunate. I don't hate the movie, but it is kind of annoying. I would assume that some people would probably not like this movie, and I might be the nicer of the few. I would give this movie a 4.5, maybe a 5 out of 10 overall for this film. It just didn't do anything to really keep me interested and make me invested in a film that could have been somewhat good, above average maybe. Who knows? The movie just throws you right into the story just right off the bat. So if you're into that, that might be a step up in the right direction, but it also doesn't take any time to try to scare you at all. I will admit that they did have some pretty cool wire work in this, and they did that flawlessly, but ultimately, I just didn't care about the characters enough if they got saved, went through hell, went into this world, or not. It's obviously an ambitious idea on a very small budget, the likes of something like Blumhouse trying to do one of their Conjuring universe sort of style movies, only it turned into worse than La Llorona. It is up available for rent for $5, and you can rent it on Google and Amazon if you want to take the risk. I'm sure you'll probably see this on one of the streaming sites at some point in time. If I were you, if you're looking for a good South Korean film, there's one that hit on Netflix just a few weeks ago called The Call. That is super good, and that is a good watch. I would highly recommend watching that. But that's the great thing about opinions. We all have our own. This is just mine. Thank you for coming and spending your time with me on this channel each week. And as always, long live the void.